This book is not just a self-development book. This book will completely change your life. There is no list of the top 10 best books without this book being on it, and sometimes even leading it. More than 400,000 people on Goodreads rated it with an average of 4.1 out of 5. It ranked 4th on Lifehack, 4th also on Medium, and 2nd on Goalcast. This book truly is a miracle. This book will not only develop you, but it will also give you radical solutions in every aspect of your life. In your family life, in your married life, in your personal life, and in your professional life. It will even give you radical solutions in your business. When we say every aspect of your life, we literally mean every aspect of your life. According to Goodreads, this book has about 381 pages, but you don't need to read it. I already read it, and I will explain it to you and give you its value. I will give you a complete explanation that will save you from reading the book, God willing. I will remove the filler from the book and give you the essence. So, let's go, so I don't keep you waiting with long introductions. An explanation of the introduction to the book. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by the truly great author Stephen Richard Covey in this video. Prepare your cup of coffee, my follower friend, or your favorite drink, and focus with me because what's coming next is very beautiful and very powerful. And let's enjoy. Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. Welcome, my follower friend, to the channel Khulasat al-Kutub, Summary of Books. Books where coffee, music, and books meet. And if you are new to this channel, on this channel I read a book and give you its benefit. So if you would like to get the benefit of reading without actually reading, subscribe with me. As is clear from the title of the book, my follower friend, you will create a radical change in your life and succeed in it simply by applying these 7 habits. And notice, my follower friend, that he said habits, not behaviors. And the difference is very big. Habits, my follower friend, are permanent behaviors. Put a million lines under permanent. And I have good news for you. These 7 habits are mental habits, meaning, God willing, the matter will not involve exhaustion. All you have to do is get used to thinking in these 7 ways. And welcome to the world of achieving success. Excellent. But my follower friend, before I start explaining the introduction, I want you to understand that the change we are talking about here is radical change. I repeat and emphasize, radical change, not a fragile or superficial change that lasts a day or two and then disappears. No, a radical change that lasts for a long time. And Stephen Covey tells you that to create radical change, there are 2 keys and 1 tool. Imagine it like a cabinet with 2 doors. You open the first door, then you open the second door, then you take the tool and start creating radical change. In this video, we will talk about the 2 keys, and we will leave the tool for a separate video because it is very important. Good? Good. The first key, my follower friend, is from the inside out. What this means is that radical change begins from the inside out, contrary to what most people believe. Many of us think that change starts from the outside in. For example, someone might think that in order for their life to change, the external circumstances around them must change. Opportunities must pour onto them, the paths must become easier, and the obstacles must disappear. But this, my follower friend, is wrong. The opposite is true. Real change begins from the inside out. If you change from the inside, all your external circumstances will change. Imagine, my follower friend, the moment you reverse this concept, your life will turn completely upside down. You know how humanity, for thousands of years, believed that the earth was stationary and the sun was the one moving, until the truly great scientist Nicholas Copernicus came and told them, no, the sun is the one that is stationary, and we are the ones who revolve. Of course, With my deep respect to my friends who believe that the Earth is flat, Copernicus was with the round Earth team. Humanity reversed the concept, and that created a huge leap in its history. Imagine if we had never reversed this concept. We would never have reached everything you see today in terms of development, scientific progress, and modern technology. There would be no airplanes, no satellites, no televisions, no phones, no internet, and none of the things you see today. So thank you very much, Copernicus. After God, without Copernicus, I would not have been able to speak to you, my follower friend, from this platform. And you, my follower friend, the moment you reverse your concept of change and begin to change from the inside, your life will change completely. Opportunities will pour onto you, paths will become easier, and obstacles will disappear. You might ask me, my follower friend, so what exactly should I change inside? Should I change my kidneys so my income increases? Or should I do an upgrade to my liver so I can become a company president? Or what exactly should I do? I like your sense of humor, my follower friend. You're funny. I'll tell you. Stephen Covey says, change your thinking. Change your mental paradigms, and your life will change. And this is the second key, my follower friend. Let me give you a brief idea about the power of mental paradigms. A French philosopher says, I had a very strange experience with mental paradigms, and it made me later wonder whether this wall is actually real or just an illusion created by my paradigms. He says, one time I was standing at a traffic light at an intersection, and an accident happened right in front of me between a car and a motorcycle. Since I was a witness to the accident, when the traffic officer arrived, I immediately went to him and said, Officer, this accident happened right in front of me, and the car driver is the one who hit the motorcyclist. The officer said to me, Are you sure? I said, As sure as I see you, officer. The officer replied, But everyone else at the intersection who witnessed the accident says the opposite. They say the motorcyclist is the one who hit the car driver. I said, I'm telling you, officer, the accident happened right in front of my eyes. The car driver is the one who hit the poor motorcyclist. Look at my eyes. Look at my eyes. Would my eyes lie? He says, the officer and I kept going back and forth, discussing it again and again, until the motorcyclist himself came and said, I appreciate your testimony, but the truth is that I am the one who hit the car. Yes, my follower friend. The reaction of the French philosopher was exactly like this. He says, I turned around, barely believing what had just happened. Did my eyes really see the complete opposite? He says, I spent the entire day thinking about this, thinking about how I saw the car hitting the motorcyclist. Then I finally realized that the reason was my mental paradigms. Because all my life, I believed and saw that a motorcycle is much weaker than a car, and that it is impossible for a motorcyclist to crash into a car. When the accident happened right in front of me, the facts became distorted. After that, I started doubting every truth around me. Is it really as it is? Or is it distorted because of my mental paradigms? Yes, my follower friend, mental paradigms are this powerful and even more. Mental paradigms are all the accumulated ideas from the day you were born until today, and all the experiences and situations you have gone through in life. All of them gathered together and formed your mental paradigms. And Stephen Covey says that mental paradigms are like lenses through which we see the world. And these lenses differ from person to person. Some people have clean lenses, some people have dirty and scratched lenses, and some have lenses that are broken, concave or convex, and so on. So he says that the first step toward radical change is to remove your mental paradigms and replace them with better and stronger ones, so that you can see the world through them in a better way. And when your mental paradigm changes toward anything, your reaction and your way of dealing with it will change. From here, radical change happens, my follower friend. For example, if the French philosopher had been the traffic officer and the accident happened in front of him, he would have wrongly blamed the poor car driver because of his mental paradigms. And I will tell you, my follower friend, the story through which Stephen Covey discovered the power of mental paradigms. Stephen Covey says that one of my sons went through a difficult period during his childhood, during which his academic level dropped to below average, and his performance in baseball was very disastrous. He says, My wife Sandra and I decided that we would support him and stand by him until he passed through this difficult period. He says that whenever we attended his baseball games, we would shower him with cheers of encouragement. "Come on, son, you can do it. Hold the bat properly and you'll make it," and things like that. And whenever he made even the smallest improvement, we would greatly exaggerate our praise. And we became the first line of defense against the bullying chants of his teammates. He says, "What was strange is that all this support we gave him did not help at all. On the contrary, my son became upset and said, 'Don't encourage me. I don't want your encouragement. I hate baseball very much and I will never play it again.'" He says, "We became very worried about him." He says, "My wife Sandra and I sat down discussing and trying to understand the reasons why all this support did not help. And after several discussions, we realized that everything we did for him was wrong, completely wrong." Yes, wrong, my follower friend. He says that with all those actions, we were actually reflecting what existed in our mental paradigms about him. It was as if we were saying to him indirectly, "We have evaluated you, my son, according to the standards of success set by society. And if you do not achieve very high grades in school, and if you do not play baseball well, then you have shortcomings, you suffer from weakness, and you need someone to support you and defend you." My wife Sandra and I realized that if our son was going to change, we first had to change the way we thought about him. Imagine that. He says, "We began the process of changing our mental paradigms, and we started to see him as normal, and he truly was normal. So we stopped encouraging him, defending him, and supporting him." He says that because he was used to this support from us, we saw a reaction from him, but we ignored it. It was as if we were also saying to him indirectly, "You are normal and healthy. You do not suffer from weakness. You do not have shortcomings. You do not need our support or our defense. And you, my son, have an independent personality that must form itself and reveal itself." He says that after we changed our mental paradigms, our son changed. His academic performance improved, his performance in baseball improved, and even his relationship with his friends improved. He formed many more relationships than before, and his personality formed itself, revealed itself, and emerged just as we wanted it to. My God, my God, my God, what kind of mind is this, Stephen? You might say, my follower friend. No, wait a moment. This seems a bit exaggerated. I change my thinking about my son so that my son changes? Yes, my follower friend, this is the power of mental paradigms. And let me tell you this amazing story. A school in the 20th century gathered the smart students and placed them in one class, and the students who had low intelligence were placed in another class. On the name list for each class, they wrote, "This class has smart students, and this class has students with low intelligence." During one of the school terms, a printing error happened, and the classification on the lists was reversed. The class that actually had students with low intelligence was labeled the smart class, and the smart class was labeled the class with low intelligence. And what happened, my follower friend, is that they did not discover this mistake until the end of the term was near. They were surprised that the results of the smart students had declined, while the results of the students who were considered to have low intelligence had improved. The reason behind this was that the teachers would read on the list a class of students with low intelligence, so they formed mental paradigms that these students had low intelligence. As a result, they treated and dealt with them accordingly, and the students actually began to perform poorly. And the opposite was also true. Before entering the smart class, the teacher would read smart class, so he would form mental paradigms that they were intelligent, and he would begin to treat and deal with them as intelligent students, and this actually improved their level of intelligence. My follower friend, this is true, very true. Many times my family and I discuss this topic and say, "Notice how foreigners treat their children who are 5 or 6 years old. They treat them like adults and speak to them like adults, and that is why you often find their intelligence levels higher." And this is exactly what Stephen Covey did with his son. Instead of treating him as a child who had shortcomings, he began to treat him as a normal child. When his academic performance declined, it was something normal, a little effort, and he would return to how he was before. And it is not necessary for his performance in baseball to be extraordinary in order for him to be a normal person. And in this way, his son changed. This is the power of mental paradigms, my follower friend. And just as Stephen Covey said, when your mental paradigm towards something changes, your interaction with it changes, and from here, radical change happens. So Stephen Covey gives us this very great quote. He says, "If you sow a thought, you reap an action. If you sow an action, you reap a habit. If you sow a habit, you reap a character. If you sow a character, you reap a destiny." Wonderful. And speaking of sowing and harvesting, my follower friend, Stephen Covey says that you will often not be able to change your mental paradigm overnight. In order to create radical change, there is only one tool, which is the farm theory, my follower friend. And this is the tool that I will explain to you, God willing, in a separate video, because it needs another cup of coffee besides the one you already have with you. And I don't want you to drink 2 cups of coffee in the same day, my follower friend. Your health is important to me. However, some mental paradigms can change in the same moment. This has happened to us many times, and it also happened to Stephen Covey. Stephen says, "I remember a small paradigm-shifting experience I went through when I was on my way to the New York subway one Sunday morning. Since it was Sunday, people were sitting quietly. Some were reading newspapers, others were deep in thought, and some had closed their eyes to relax. The atmosphere was filled with calm and peace. Suddenly, a man entered the subway car with his children. Ah, here we go. The children were making a lot of noise, and it suddenly changed the entire atmosphere of the subway car. The man sat next to me and closed his eyes, as if he could not see at all what his children were doing. The children were running back and forth through the subway car, shouting and throwing things, even snatching newspapers from people's hands, causing a great disturbance. Yet the man sitting beside me did not move at all. It was hard not to feel annoyed, and I could not believe that this man could be so indifferent that he would let his children do whatever they wanted without doing anything about their behavior or taking responsibility for them. It was like a man in a mall standing at gate 1 while his kids are at gate 17. They disturb people. They disturb the security guards. Every moment one of them gets lost, they find him, and then another one gets lost. His kids would need Interpol just to find them, and he's just sitting there. So I turned to the man and said, "Sir, your children are causing a lot of disturbance to the passengers. Could you please control them a little?" The man raised his eyes and looked at me, as if he had finally become aware of what was happening, and he said calmly, "You're right. I think I should do something about it. We just came back from the hospital. Their mother passed away an hour ago. I'm completely unable to think, and I think they also don't know how to deal with the situation." Stephen says, "Can you imagine how I felt at that moment? My mental paradigm changed completely. Suddenly, I saw things from a different perspective. And because I saw things from a different perspective, I thought differently, I felt differently, and therefore, my behavior became different. My annoyance disappeared, and I was no longer concerned with controlling my reactions and behavior. Instead, I felt the man's pain squeezing my heart, and feelings of empathy and compassion flowed inside me. Your wife just passed away. I'm very sorry. Would you like to talk about it? Is there any way I can help you?" And from that moment, everything changed completely. Stephen Covey says that your mental paradigm can change in a single moment. And surely, my follower friend, you have gone through a situation like the one he experienced, where your mental paradigm changed. He says, "I am also sure that if the other annoyed passengers on the bus had known the reason, their reaction to the situation would have changed, and you would have found them being gentle and kind with those children, out of mercy and compassion for them. Their mother had just died. That's why I kept repeating to you, my follower friend, this is the power of mental paradigms. I know I may have annoyed you. The power of mental paradigms, the power of mental paradigms, the power of mental paradigms. I know. But believe me, I keep repeating it again and again because it is very, very important. And let me tell you something. You might say that I'm exaggerating, but honestly, even if you get nothing from this book except understanding the power of mental paradigms and how they can completely change your life, That alone would be enough. So, my follower friend, let's repeat it for emphasis. The first key is that you must reverse your concept of change. Real change begins from the inside, and then your external circumstances begin to change. And what you must change inside is your mental paradigm, the lens through which you see the world. When you change it toward anything, your way of dealing with it will change. And in order to change your mental paradigms, you need to use one tool only, which is the farm theory, and I will explain it to you in the next video, God willing. We are talking about radical change, and radical change takes time. Yes, my follower friend. What I want is that after you finish this series, you will have taken one of the turning points of your life. Just as I told you, this book will be a turning point, and if you apply it exactly, your life will change. This is a promise, God willing, that it will change. If you want to succeed, you will succeed. If you want to improve your marital relationship, you will improve it. With your teenage children, you will fix it. You will set things right in every area of your life, God willing. See, my follower friend? Maghrib prayer time came in while I was trying to convince you that mental paradigms are powerful. Now, my follower friend, after I have shown you the power of mental paradigms, I want you to ask yourself these questions. Was the problem really in my mental paradigms? Am I truly seeing the things around me this way because of my mental paradigms? Did I really form mental paradigms that made me see my family this way, and that's why my family became this way? Were my mental paradigms the reason I saw my life partner as very distant from me and not caring about me, and that's why they actually became distant and uncaring? In my mental paradigms, did I believe that there was a big gap between me and my children, especially the teenagers, and that's why there truly is a big gap between us? Are my mental paradigms really the reason behind everything I see right now? It's possible. Yes, possible. By the way, people who understand the law of attraction and universal laws know that this is true. People who understand psychology know that this is true. And people who have studied physics and quantum physics also know that this is true. And I hope that if anyone here understands the law of attraction, universal laws, psychology, the laws of physics, or quantum physics, they will share with us their knowledge and the experiences they have gone through regarding the power of mental paradigms in the comments. They will give you thousands of pieces of evidence proving that this is real. And you, my follower friend, personally, haven't you ever heard about people who lived their entire lives paralyzed simply because they believed they were paralyzed, even though there was nothing physically wrong with them? And surely you have heard about false pregnancy, how a woman keeps feeding her mental paradigm that she is pregnant, and her belly actually begins to grow, even though she is not pregnant at all. Exactly. There are many people, maybe you are one of them, who have many opportunities around them to create change in their lives and succeed, yet they don't see those opportunities because of their mental paradigms. I will prove this to you when we start talking about the first 3 habits. So, my follower friend, I am sure you know someone who needs to understand the importance of mental paradigms and change their paradigms so their life can change. Send them this video. And if you feel that you benefited, my follower friend, don't forget to give me a like. And please, if you haven't subscribed to the channel on YouTube yet, what are you waiting for? Press the subscribe button. This is the end of today's episode. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for listening. Peace be upon you.